Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in. Today is June the 5th, the day that Ferris took his girlfriend and his buddy Cameron to Wrigley to watch some baseball. And they did quite a few other things that day. Anyway, we have IBIT position that I'm going to run through for a few minutes just so we can get a feel for what's going on. All right. So when was this? 3 days ago, if we look over here on the right at the activity tab, 3 days ago, I wanted to start to test the waters in IBIT. And in this account, what did I do here? All right, so I bought 5 of the puts at the 30 strike line. Expiry is September 18th. So I'm out 105 days remaining for this to expire. And I paid 93 cents on 5 of these, so 465 bucks ish, minus commissions and fees. And then IBIT started to, well, IBIT was going down, and then it kept going down, and I decided to start to sell some puts against this long 5 position. Basically, I started to calendarize these. So note that the expiry on the 5 lot that I bought, the original component of the trade, is September 18th. The expiry is September 18th. And then I started to sell at the same strike, but different expirations. I went to July 17th. I sold one there for 53 cents. I went to the July 17th. I sold another one at 55 cents. And then I went to the 33 strike line. I sold one there for $1. And then I decided that I was just going to do a bigger calendar trade. So the strikes that I chose were the 30 strike line and the 29 strike line. And for the 30 strike line, I bought 10 of them expiring Sep 18th. And for the 29 strike line, I sold 5 expiring, the expiry is August 21st. So we have 77 days before the August expires and 105 before Sep expires. And I decided to go with this setup because of roughly where expected moves for this time period are looking like they might be. And I wanted to give myself time for this to work out. So worst case scenario for this, note that I paid 208. So this is going to roughly, my outlay is going to roughly be about a little more than $1,000. And if we take a look at current prices, let's see, I bought, so I'm going to highlight this. So I bought 10 of them. Oh, this has an average price of, I actually paid, let me see, $154 for the 10 lot that I bought earlier today. And I sold the 29 line at 98. So 2 of these versus 1 of these. So $1, we're going to go from $1.54 on this one to $1.50 just to make it simple. So $3 for 2, and we're going to make this $1 for 1. Cost me $2. Cost me $2 per contract. And my total outlay is going to be a little more than $1,000. Let's see, that sounds right. Yeah. So 150 times 10 is 1,500, and then we're going to subtract 505. So a little more than $1,000 for the 2x1 10 times. And prices are currently at $1.77 and $1.14. So I started with 5. I added on a little bit, and then I added on via calendarizing this 5. And then I just decided to add on to the position earlier today. Bitcoin has continued to drop in price. It's continuing its descent. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know where it's going to go in the future. No one does, but I like the look of bets to the downside. I like the expectancy of these bets. So I'm going to go ahead and place these. This is a small account that I have over on Tasty. And Again, let me stress that I don't recommend anyone do this, especially an outlay of this amount for what would be a small account. However, we no longer have to concern ourselves with PDT rules. So, in a sense, um, a lot of accounts were effectively had 25,000 in capital freed up, which is a good thing if you know how to handle it. All right, looking at let's take a look at the analysis tab real quick, and I'll include the whole thing. So I have the outlay. That's going to be my max loss. And remember that in the calendar there are different expirations. So we have the trough. Oh, that's good. All right. So we have the trough down here, let's say around 30. But let's do a quick happy scenario for this trade. So let's say that August, for the August 21st expiration, or the August expiration, let's call it, I think it's the 21st. Let me double check. 21st. All right. So for the August 21st expiration, we have price of IBIT at 29. And that means that the 5 puts I sold at this line go to dust. They expire worthless. And I still have 15 at the 30 that are in the money by $1 and still have time to go. So we're going to have that 15 lot will have intrinsic value of $1 plus whatever extrinsic value corresponds to this price for spot and the time remaining. So it should be decent. Now, on the other side, the flip side of the coin, my losses are going to be whatever I paid to sit at the table, so to speak. And they're defined. That is okay. But if we take a bigger picture view, this looks attractive. The prices that I started laying into these at were attractive. And note that when I initially started with this, the price of the 30 puts, September expiry, started at 93 cents, and now they're trading around $1.80-ish. So in a matter of 3 days, there's been some favorable movement for this particular position. And again, I'm not saying that Bitcoin's going to tank, and I'm not saying that it's going to rally. I honestly, who knows? However, this chart looks pretty ugly. This is a 30-minute bar chart. I got my Dodgers colors here, blue and white. And it's not looking too good. I guess I'll go to a daily just to take a longer term view and see what's happening here. So at 60,000, this is probably around 50% off the all-time high. It's got to be pretty close. And anyway, it's breaking through what I assume the technicians might look at as support. It's breaking through. However, it can definitely rally pretty quickly. So anything I would have to say off the top of my head, anything within the next couple of weeks to 70,000 or 50,000 on the other side would not be a surprise to me. But obviously, I prefer 50 than 70. So yeah, interesting things going on in Bitcoin. Bonds got hit by a point. By the way, bonds got hit by a point lower as soon as the employment number came out today. And the minis and the SPOOs have been trickling lower. The minis have been trickling lower since the number came out, the employment report. It was at 5:30 this morning. And the SPOOs, since they opened, when the cash opened, it's followed suit. So interesting price action for a Friday. And bear in mind, it's still quite early in the day. So this market in particular, I don't think it would be a surprise to anyone if we had some crazy rally. I don't know could rally to, well, I'm not saying it's going to rally to unchanged, but at this point, with these face ripper rallies that this market has had in the past 6 months, I would not be surprised. It's just, all right, another ridiculous rally again. No big deal. But it doesn't look that way for now. Yet we have 4 hours, a little more than 4 hours to go before the market closes. So there is time for something wild to happen. And again, Bitcoin looks really, really ugly. We'll see how this continues to play out. All right, thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you guys next time.